All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going back into some more crowns that are burning. So we are currently still in New Svetven. We are hanging out either at the bathhouse of New Svetven, or we are actually hovering around the Ruby Fortress. So I feel like we had a couple scenes that we wanted to jump into, right? So who wants to go first? What makes kind of the most sense? Do we want to see the scene with Mason?
Closing out the bathhouse.
Yeah. So let's finish the scene with Mason. So we see Sir Onan coming back to Mason, who's been kind of awkwardly hanging out in sort of the in the plebeian area of the bathhouse.
That's me.
I come back looking, frustrated.
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong?
Let's not talk about it. Let's have a good time. How are you? Should I order us some drinks?
I mean, drink sounds fun. But I feel like maybe... Why are you shoving this off? Was it in fact like a huge annoying asshole you had to meet with?
Yes. Also my father.
I was wondering
Mason
if you're
like
gonna
sinks into the water, like submerges, like fuck.
My father, for all of his accomplishments, is the current sword bishop of Gorm, which means that he's the most respected archbishop in the faith and has virtual control of the religion's doctrine right now.
Okay, and you just allowed me to call the man an asshole. Thank you.
Yes! Well, I'm allowed to call him an asshole. That means my friend is allowed to call him an asshole.
Much appreciated. I'll mention it in my evening prayer when the god of war smites me for apostasy.
I mean, it's rather unfair to think that Gorham... In fact, it's very untrue that Gorham would kill someone for disrespecting one of his bishops. He would expect his bishop to kill them.
That makes me feel all kinds of warm and squishy.
But it's not like he sends magical messages from the sky telling bishops when they've been insulted. If that makes you feel any better.
Really?
Sure
Your
it
dad
does.
doesn't do that?
No,
that's Avatar's domain
Mine does.
all the time.
sending messages from the sky would be far too close to helping.
Yeah. This is remember, Gorm is far closer to Crom than anything.
Then to hell with you.
Yeah. So,
Good.
So yeah, you made a big fool of yourself, Mason, and it doesn't look like Sir Onan wants to discuss or give you any more of the details about.
No. We can keep talking about it. If
fine.
he's pressing me. So, how are you liking being in the capital? I assume for the first time.
Not for the first time in the capital, but for the first time within a stone's throw of the castle. It's intimidating and daunting and smells nice.
Flashback to you hiding out in the stables, like, where's the witch?
That's like, shh, fuck, shh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's intimidating.
Well, remember that in the eyes of Gorham, all men are equal until proven otherwise. So don't worry about being in the presence of nobles and nobility. You've already earned your stay at the castle.
Much obliged. But it's not the word of Gorham I'm worried about.
Are you being quiet? Like discreet? Maybe it's the best way I should say when you say that. No,
Me or Regan?
Discreet and Onan.
Yeah. I don't think it sounds like you're being discreet. It's just that could be misconstrued as scandalous.
Well, let them
but-
think that
yeah,
it's scandalous. I'm a Gorhamite. It's my religion.
Oh, totally. Okay.
It's my religion to say
Yeah,
and
no, you're fine.
believe
That's-
that all people are equal in the eyes of Gorham until proven otherwise. So let them disagree with my religious doctrine. They're allowed. But they're disagreeing with the Church of Gorham, not with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the Church of Gorham has pointy things.
Yes. Cool. Okay.
Mason, have you ever been into a bathhouse?
Yes. Although last time wasn't for both men and women.
Is that relevant here?
Maybe not, Mason says, and gets out of the bath, obviously a woman, and then dries themselves off and leave.
Oh, I love that.
What do you mean?
I love
What?
that meme.
What? Mason, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's got to be the end of the scene.
Yeah, this the
That's how
revelation. Of,
How Onan got woke, right?
yeah,
Got woke.
shit. Alright.
I am sorry.
Yeah, ooh, okay. Yeah, so then we'll probably cut over now over to Count Ronald.
Father Demetrius, I was just saying to Mason that the accommodations will be acceptable, I'm sure. However, I will also be seeking alternative accommodations in town, just in case. How did finding a billet for your men work out?
It seems I shall have to pay for it myself. No matter.
There's no need for that. I can find a place for them to stay.
I would appreciate that.
Your troops are my troops.
Yes. I have had a chance to speak with my cousin's major domo. It seems the rooms shall be most excellent indeed. I've ensured that yours is just a tad bit bigger than Sir Onan's, but don't tell him.
There's no need. We can swap rooms.
Fair
As
enough.
I said, I'll probably not be staying the night in the castle. Your sister did, or your cousin did, send an assassin to kill you and me, so...
Well, yes and no. My cousin is an interesting woman.
That's how Sir Tovens say they like you.
Now that we're on the subject of your cousin, by the way, I was hoping you might be able to arrange with her a private meeting with me and her, and perhaps even you, for a night walk in the gardens here. I remember seeing them when I was a boy. They're quite beautiful.
You would know that's going to be like really
hard.
I know,
Okay,
but I turn to Demetrius and I'm like, Demetrius, this is possibly the most important thing happening in the capital right now. This meeting.
Yes. My cousin can be a difficult woman to pin down. I will do what I can.
I have faith, Father.
He smiles. Yeah, you know, the irony there is not lost on him, and he says, I will most assuredly do everything I can to promote our interests here in the city. I want you to know that you may not see a lot of me. I'm going to have to be working closely within the church, but there's going to come...
I assume you're capable of receiving letters.
Of course. All I ask, Count Swan, is there's going to be a time when I need a bit of a spectacle. And the chosen one will need to be there. You understand?
I believe I know how this works by now. Spent the last month reading this little book. I think it's time to put Abadar's good works to good works.
Absolutely. But the road will not be so easy as that. The first step is getting the church to unite behind you, and that is what I shall be working on over the coming weeks.
Father, I suspect it should be one of the easiest steps we've ever taken. Have faith.
But of course.
Nice.
Now, can you direct me to the Major Domo? I have another person I wish to have invited to tonight's party.
I would be more than happy to take you to him, Your Eminence.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Walk. We arrive.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. So, you secure an audience with the major demo again. So
and what was this man's name?
Vladimir.
Right.
I'll probably introduce. I'll probably say
Vladimir Magnar.
I will probably introduce Count Swan, and I'll say, Vladimir.
Get all of my titles right.
May I introduce? Oh, I definitely need to get. You sent them to me at one point here.
I did.
I'm picturing.
I have them on my character sheet under relations.
Okay, here we go.
I'm picturing a younger Robert De Niro for Vladimir.
I say, Vladimir, may I present Count Ronald of House Swan, His Eminence, chosen of Abadar, he who will defend the wall against the end of the world, patron of the arts and industry, commander of the Greenbelt Irregular Militia. Count Swan, this is Major Domo Vladimir Magnar, a loyal servant of House Sertova, and a man I consider to be a close personal friend.
I expect him to be a man of impeccable character then. Well met, Magnar.
Well met to you too, Count. Your Eminence. Well, I mean, he would use the right.
Count your evidence. I mean, I'll just
Count,
accept
no.
it at this point. As long as the title's in the general.
I'm gonna fuck up, but this guy does not fuck up.
Yeah,
Okay.
this guy knows.
He's
what's
like,
up.
no, we were expecting you. Have you had a chance to reconnoiter your bedroom, your lodgings? Are they up
I have
to?
not, I understand that I have a slightly better one than Sir Onan Solston. You can swap our accommodations. I'll be using the room within the castle for meetings and will not require it as a bedroom. But I thank the House of Sertova so much for their kindness in this regard.
Is that he asks you? He kind of asks you something. He's like, oh, that's most unusual. Is that customary of House Swan to do that for future arrangements? I'm sure we will be seeing each other more.
I would hope that we would indeed see each other more.
Yeah. So should we normally expect you to have your own lodgings? And
simply have so much business around town. And speaking of that business, I wish to have a member of the consortium that I used to work with invited to this party. Lady by the name of Drusilla Ham.
Okay.
Ham.
I would like to
Circles her up.
circles her up.
Lady Drusilla Ham.
Well, she's not a noble. So her current life path is magnate.
Yeah.
Which we share.
Oh shit. I totally gave myself a 2nd-degree burn on my ankle heating it.
That's
last
terrible.
night. Yeah, it's real bad. Sorry.
Heating your ankle?
Yeah. I rolled my ankle at the woman's match.
Oh.
And I inadvertently burned it. Anyway.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay. So, sorry. TMI. Continue.
No, not too at all. Don't worry.
So we share a life path, one station lower than me, and I'd like her to have, if not specific disposition, what I'm looking to get out of Drusilla Ham is someone who is exceedingly wealthy and knowledgeable, but most importantly also has places that I can purchase and when I say purchase, I mean permanently, like a townhouse.
She's like a real estate
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
Magnate.
Okay. Yeah,
Yep, she's
real estate
magnate.
magnate. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, land... If there's like one way to make a lot of money back then is like nobles and land and like selling that shit. Totally.
I was thinking like Ob 4-ish.
That sounds like Op 2 to me.
Yeah, it does not sound like... It sounds like the people Count Swan would know.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
definitely...
Op 1, like as a baseline, and then you add 1 to the Op for being a lower rank than you, like lower social standing than you, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And
but I need
time's not a
specific-
factor,
Okay.
and you would know this person from vague,
And this
But
is the
dealing.
place where...
Exposition and knowledge that you're asking for would be common to, if she's a dealer of real estate, that like knowing real estate available sale would be common to her. So
I'm gonna call upon my 3 points of Brevoyan nobility, and 1 point of specifically Rogarvian nobility, since we are in House Rogarvian lands.
Yeah,
what
for sure.
points are those?
Affiliation is Rogarvian.
for sure.
You can-
Where you
She
can,
probably
use your circles.
she
Remember
probably
when
made a
your
kill.
circles-
Sorry.
Go on,
I
Eric.
was,
after
I
you.
was gonna say I was gonna fill in some details. In fact, because this is Rogarvian lands, she probably made a killing from the after House Rogarvia disappeared, kind of like organizing and facilitating the the legal sides of titles.
all
and
of
owners.
the like
Yeah.
Rogarvian houses that were
Yeah.
now empty.
Like as the wheel turns of the Game of Thrones, she made a killing of lining up all the pieces of the board.
Cool. Remember when you
That's
you
great.
apply bonuses to your circles test, you use 1 reputation and 1 affiliation.
That's what I'm doing.
So
Wow.
take
You crushed
whichever
it.
is most
You
appropriate.
crushed that. You crushed that real nice and good. Like
I
a lot
forgot
of
to put the
fives.
ob in, but it's still way higher than it needs to be. So I've arranged a meeting with Drusilla Ham at tonight's.
While we are speaking of the invite list, I was hoping you could inform me whether a friend was on it, Vladimir. And I'd like to circles up. Basically, I want an ally in the church, somebody who is also a father, a vested priest, probably some way.
Sect?
Yeah, I'm thinking somebody of my sect in the same way that, like, you know, we're both on the same station, but they sort of defer to me because I'm Sertova. That's the kind of person that I want.
Okay.
Somebody basically just like want an ally in the church to start making plans to move forward.
Yeah. He's like, oh, is an Abadarian? He like probably brings out another like book that's probably has like a key on it or something, and like that's like the Abadarian guest list, and so he's gonna wait for you.
Here, I've got a name for you.
He's gonna like try to find a name in the list as you're saying it.
Let's say his name. What's one of the houses that follows Sertova?
Yeah, there's a lot of houses.
Let's call him.
I was gonna say, if he followed a Rogarvian house, couldn't I give you a helping die on this?
Well, I don't need that. I'd rather him follow us. But Alexei, and then where are the minor houses? Sertova. Oh no, I lost him. What other ones other than Magnar are there?
I have to find my own sheet for that real quick.
So this guy a noble or a commoner raised to priest?
No. I want him to be. He's part of the sect, but I want him to be like a noble.
I can't find my list.
Same station as you.
All the sub houses of everybody.
So I guess he would be technically a step lower.
So that's in my opinion, an up 3 to 4, depending on how Eric deems the bonus for his disposition.
It's probably 3, only because you're dealing with someone who's pretty close to you, and I'm trying to look for somebody relatively commonplace. Just like I assume I would have allies in the church. Like I'm an exactly. No, you absolutely do. So
we can come up with the last name for him later. So I will be rolling circles. I'd like to fork in my 2D affiliation as a priest of Abadar, as well as my 2D reputation as a miracle worker.
Why is the reputation of a miracle worker relevant?
Because he's a member of my sect that believes in the end of the world stuff, and I have to imagine that when you're in a sect that believes in the end of the world, a guy that can perform visible miracles is probably...
That's true. He will call. He will answer your call when you show up.
This is Jesus making a circles roll.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Cool. Let's see. So I have 6 dice on an ob 3. Let's spend a point of persona. Oh, whoops. Yeah. All right. We're still good.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well done.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, cool. So, let me give him a name. I just cannot find my bloody.
Yeah, I've got the Kingmaker thing pulled up, and it's got like the minor factions under Rogarvia.
That's because we're more important.
Fuck it. All right. Look, I'll come up with his last name in a little bit.
I mean, obviously,
Father Alexei. He goes by Father Alexei. So
okay,
they're all going to be the name of Stark Banner houses, right?
Basically,
no. The Icy North.
Okay, Father. All right, Alexei. You want Alexei to be there? Is there anything like pretty special about Alexei that we should know about?
No, I mean he's a vested priest of Abadar like myself. Basically, the main purpose for the role, just so that you have an idea, is I just want to start making moves to get all of my people into a room to get them to accept me and Count Swan.
Okay. Got it.
And then, because then from there, I can take the whole sect and be like, look, you guys, everyone else needs to get behind our sect. We're clearly right. The world is ending. And then I can do miracle shit and convince everyone.
Oh, found it. Okay. Yep. Cool. So let's start working on that. In the interim, it's going to be... I guess it's probably going to be like getting closer to that party now that you guys are like formally supposed to attend. Was there anything else you guys wanted to do before we jump to that?
Just like establishing minor details about it. Mostly because my character's out of place, right? So I want to have an idea of what I'm actually going into.
Sure. So you guys are going into honestly a feast in your honor for all your work against the bandits and reconnaissance of the northern parts of the Stormlands. It's strongly assumed that as a reward for this, you will be given charters for the colonization, essentially, like the long term of this place.
So how is this sold to Mason? Right? Am I being told that I arrived to be accoladed, or am I being told that I'm someone's +1?
You're being brought in as someone's +1.
Good. In that case,
if you want, I actually have an idea. If you're interested, this would be kind of like a wrap up of a scene that didn't happen on screen.
Yeah, sure. Devil's bargain me, Sensei. Come on.
Kind of. Yeah. I think that House. What's his name? I just want to make sure I get his right name. I think it's Pavel. Yeah, it's Pavel. Pavel Orlovsky of House Orlovsky is here. And he is, he would have loved to have met you at some point before this meeting, if possible.
All right,
Don't trust.
Orlovsky.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. You say I shouldn't trust him.
Orlovsky's the bad guys.
Right.
He's
Good.
in
So
Wait.
what I'm hearing is they're completely trustworthy.
They are not
Is
really
it-
the bad guys,
Wreckage's family from Orlovsky's lands.
and they're
Pavel.
not really the bad guys.
Sorry, his name's Powell, not Pavel.
They're the bad
I had it
guys.
wrong.
Oh.
It's the Paul,
Powell-
the Russian Paul.
By what definition are they the bad guys?
So
They're the
no.
biggest opposition to my house.
So, he is definitely interested. Here's where he's going to basically put forward. Instead of kind of role playing, I'm kind of stipulating it this way. And we're
Sure.
Interested. He's interested in where you stand on things. He's offering you. He's willing to offer you some of the review of all the old books that were left over in what's called Skywatch, which is on his lands. It's an old observatory built before even like Brevoy became a thing. Sort of like it's actually it's a giant's observatory from long ago that's been kind of like retrofitted into sort of like an outpost, like a fort. He's off. He wants to know where you stand, and if you're interested in working together, he'd be willing to let you have some of the overlooks of what's in Skywatch.
So is he offering me like, if you do this, I will give you something that is in Skywatch, or is he saying, if you do this, here are the keys, and I turn the other way?
And now show up to the party, and like with I guess I have to think of like what the token would be, but basically like you're there and like you're kind of like an honorary part of them, right? You're part of their entourage, essentially. So he wants you to be seen as part of their entourage at this party.
Right.
So perhaps they give you an honorary dueling sword, which is like a like it's like a dull blade, but it's sort of like just what you would wear on your hip, kind of like a cadet, or like a cavalry officer, like for like noble dress that you would wear.
So I think so Mason politely declines the dueling sword, figuring that they would probably have to attend this thing in a dress. I don't know what how rigorous the social divide in gender is in terms of fashion.
It's not. I mean, it really depends on who you are in your family. But like, because the military is very doesn't really care about your gender. So like, if you showed up, if you're part of a military outfit or like part of like an honorary military kind of group, it's possible you could wear it sort of like your officer's uniform, or you could wear a more like a dress and stuff, or you can kind of like mix mash if you want.
What I think is a better question is, since you're probably not going to be buying these clothes by yourself, it sounds like someone else is going to be giving them to you.
Yeah, they'll be giving them to you.
That's my exact question, right? Is so like from Mason's perspective, this whole thing is basically something that dragged along to, right? It's like, here, have a room in the castle. Okay, I assume. here, attend this party in
Yeah.
what the threadbare shit I'm wearing.
so I think,
I'm
yeah.
gonna lay something out, right?
Yeah, so I think either like Powell himself or like you were led by an agent of his to kind of like be like, hey, how's it going? If you want, I hear you're into secrets and stuff, and I might be able to help you out with that.
That is a badly kept secret.
Well, are you keeping the secret that you like secrets?
Well, no, you like no, who is your mentor again?
My mentor is Master Harlon, Grandmaster Harken, Master Sorcerer.
Yeah. So I think the idea is that Powell knew Grandmaster Harkin.
Did he now?
Yes.
And now, okay. And let's be
So
clear here.
this is why.
just so
No,
I
but
understand.
let me break down a little bit so you know this. You know that
Sure.
the Orlovskis, and they kind of like work a lot with House Medived, which is kind of like the Medived are kind of like they still kind of worship the old gods. They have a lot of like the ancient kind of stuff, and so through that kind of like bleeds a little bit into House Orlovsky. And so
Okay,
the
cool.
idea that the conversations between Harkin and Orlovsky, it's not far-fetched that they might have crossed paths, especially as a Grand Master. Kind
Very
of,
nice.
Right? So the fact that he's
All
like,
right.
oh, like I knew your master. He maybe even tells you a story about him, something that if you wanted to, we could see if it was true or not. But he's not trying to be deceitful here.
Yeah, so I think like maybe we don't see this as clearly, but when he says that, Mason is actually fighting back tears, because they feel like whenever they get reminded of their master, they feel extremely alone. So when he offers them like entry to Skywatch, they jump on that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All you got to do is just show up with us.
Yeah. It would be my honor and my privilege, and especially you will give me access to Skywatch.
Of course. Yeah.
I like how you
And it
reworded
is
it.
settled, my lord.
Yeah. Indeed. Okay. Cool. So let's go to the feast.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So I'm not gonna get all George R. R. Martin-y about the food and descriptions of what we're eating, but
Or the dicks. You're not going to describe those either.
no, it's an amazing, but it is a very amazing feast. It's very lavish, plenty of dancing. In fact, and it's like kind of like in your guys' honor, it will be expected of you guys to do some dancing. At the party,
Probably an abysmal dancer.
which is why I think it might actually be a skill roll here.
Are you sure I can't like bow out?
Or
on your
yeah,
count
no,
of-
yeah, it's
So-
proper for
That's
a vested.
I would like to, if I may, like I want to bring it back for a second, like just to add something. I'm curious what people look like when we, for the first time ever, see people not in like on a dusty trail, but like attending court. What do people look like?
That's a good question.
And how do you carry yourselves?
Yeah.
Count Swan is still wearing his light leather armor and same robes as before, but much cleaner ones. But the real difference is that he's now like weighed down by about 10 pounds of jewelry.
A lot of jewelry.
And I guess he steps up next to Mason. So why don't you tell me, Mason, what you look like?
So if Mason gets their pick of like what they would wear, essentially like if this guy meant to fly, then I think they attended in like a mixture of a dress and a robe. Imagine like something very stylistically in the venue of what Cersei Lannister is wearing at the end of season 6.
I think as we pan over to and see Mason, Father Demetrius sort of walks in and sees them. Yeah, he sort of like eyes the dress and says, "A fine cut. I can't say I'm a fan of the colors though, Mason."
Hmm.
House Orlovsky colors that I'm
Yes.
looking at?
Yeah. But
Yeah, maybe.
And we see so Demetrius is freshly shaved, and both his head and his beard, because the priests of Abadar don't have hair except beards, which he can't grow. And he's wearing like, I think his like robes are kind of like reminiscent of like the people at like the front of a graduation ceremony, how they have like the like big like purple robes with like the weird like stuff on their shoulder.
So you look like a wizard.
Yeah, and he's got like the vestments. I think he's got specific vestments for his sect, which have a key on one side balanced by like an ancient tome on the other side.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's very.
When you
I think the
say-
word that you're looking for is like ecclesiastical.
Yeah,
Is the word.
yeah.
Where it's like very like
Cool.
pomp and ritual and very verbose fashion.
Oh,
So
Nan.
before we move on to Onan, I want to give my response to your I'm not a fan of the colors. Mason's response is curious. You will have to tell me more. I assume you will offer me a dance. And then they move on. Oh, go Onan.
Onan is wearing ceremonial bishop's guard for enlightened Goramism. In enlightened Goramism, when a bishop attends a civilized event such as this, they wear mock armor with a mock weapon. It is in no way protective, and it is a sword that can't unsheath.
Yeah, it's
but
ceremonial.
it is purposely made up to both look like armor and a weapon, and to be like shiny and nice and have like feathers where there shouldn't be feathers.
A bunch of decorated tin.
Yeah,
And it also has a full helmet, so you can't see my face. And the entire time that they're having this conversation with Mason, like Onan is sitting there grabbing this fake sword and like very, very still. And there's like a cutaway shot where we see inside the armor, and he's looking at Mason, and he's bright red. Because he's super embarrassed about not knowing that Mason was a female. Still,
well,
so-
this is true though for everyone, kind of, right? Like you're wearing a dress now.
I don't
Yeah.
care.
I'm just pretending like I always knew.
Okay.
he's pretending he always knows. Ronald Swan doesn't care about other people. And
Yeah.
Onan, do you have a fever or something? You look like you're a little warm.
what?
can't see
Everything's
him.
fine. Nothing's on fire.
Why
He's got a
would
mask.
anything be on fire?
Absolutely, you're right. Everything is.
Onan, I thought I told you, we're trying not to cause a panic in the capital. Don't shout the word fire loudly.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Onan,
Sorry.
By Abadar, what's wrong with you? You're apologizing to me. I just like go find a seat somewhere, like totally stunned by what's happening.
Someone, where's the court doctor?
I'm sorry. I won't be a bother. Please. I must attend to official duties, and I sort of
Send for
like
the royal physician.
I do a double take at Mason, and then just like you can like I said that I have to do something, but it's like obvious that I'm just beelining through the crowd for no object, like no objective whatsoever.
I raise an eyebrow and I'm just like, somebody's scared of parties.
I call over from my seat, like maybe he's just afraid of women. I don't know.
Well, other than his sister, of course. And I take a seat next to Count Swan.
Oh, the burn. So
Were you
strong.
able to arrange that meeting we spoke of earlier, Father?
I am in the process of working on it. I'm going to need some time. It's not going to be so easy. We'll need to get Vladimir a bit more on our side first for him to arrange such things.
I leave it in your hands.
Not to worry. I shall take care of it,
Yeah.
your eminence.
So, as the night kind of goes, you guys have a hard time, like keeping tabs on one another, only because so many people keep wanting to come up and introduce themselves to you guys. You get you shake so many hands. You have to talk.
This is normal.
Yeah, you have to talk to so many people. Like once again, like all the different houses are here. They're all they all want you to share your kind of like best stories and that kind of stuff to them. But everyone's kind of like very polite, and you realize that they kind of like don't care, but they're like feigning interest for a lot of them.
Are the King Regent and his sister in attendance?
No, not yet. So this is kind of like the hors d'oeuvres and everything have been served.
Can I try to get some of these people on my side here? I mean, this is kind of my thing.
Absolutely.
Because I want to spend the whole night telling stories about the two heroes of our adventure.
Okay, so are you like building a crowd of people as you're like listening to it? So that's kind of like what we see.
Not
like,
so much a crowd, but individually when people are asking for stories, I'm telling the story of Sumire and Onin and how they basically solved all of our problems for us.
Okay, sure.
And I want to convince everyone that like these two people are people you need to keep an eye on. Sumire Shoshone, Onin Solston. They're moving up in the world. They're real go-getters.
Nice.
So when they're like fakely like, oh, I want to hear this. I want to be like, this is a story you want to hear. Gather round for the tale.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I mean. So like we pan over from the awkwardness of Sir Onin being like, God, it's so, oh my God, and then we come over and we see just the backs of a bunch of people who are like obviously like getting like intently listening to somebody, and then like the camera goes like over the shoulder and like we see Count Ronald in the middle of it being like, so let me tell you about these guys, and yeah, all right. So I think that
violinist, play me something dramatic.
So your intention here is to just get people on your side, like people be sympathetic to.
I want people to care not specifically about me, but about the Sword of the Stolen Land cause. Like what we did there was important, and that people did some really dramatic and heroic shit.
Okay.
I will help.
Like, what are you setting yourself up for advantage later?
Not specifically me in any way. I just want to, well, listen, we're at a party, and this is what Swan does.
Yeah.
I would like to help on one condition. That you do subtly and not obviously, but you do absolutely make it all about you. And so even though the story is about Sumire and Onin, it's about really what it's about is how you found these great people to make sure that, the right people were in the right place at the right time.
I will not accept your aid, sir.
Okay.
That is not what I'm about right now.
You might make your way over there, and then you run into your friend Alexi.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Cool.
I mean, I'd love to persuasion, but it somehow seems like we keep describing it as being a small crowd. So
yeah, no, this is definitely oratory. Yeah.
What's the failure consequence?
That's a good question.
People ignore us and our political efforts.
No, the failure condition of this will be that I mean I think the failure condition might actually be that you're being modest. Like people think you're being modest. And
they're like,
people
that counts, Swan. Oh, that counts, Swan.
Look how cute you are hanging out with the poor.
Allow me to tell you the story, noble listeners, of a young man just over there. You see him? He looks a little warm. Don't worry, he'll cool down.
And we see Sir Onin just proudly standing there, his arms crossed, at a party.
I'm literally, you can't even see my face. I'm wearing mirror reflective armor, and he looks a little warm.
I'm imagining you're wearing like an armet, like a visored armet. So it's like you of course have the visor up, I guess, but.
Maybe it's the visor's probably down, or it's going up and down all night based on how close Mason is. Because I don't want it. I'm so embarrassed.
Mason Dar, beep.
Love it.
Okay. This is a man who challenged the notorious but honorable Stag Lord to single combat throughout the Null Marshes. A merry chase was given as they hunted each other through the night, and then Onin smote him with a sword and a crossbow and carried back his head.
Woo! Yeah!
Yeah, cool.
I'd love to call on Bandit-wise, Court-wise, and I don't know. I would love to call on Etiquette, but I don't think I really made a case for it.
I don't know if Bandit-wise counts here, but definitely Court-wise.
Can I swap Noble-wise for Bandit-wise then, since that's literally
because it's more about describing these people to your audience, right?
No, it's very clear where Bandit-wise came in, and that's when he tried to sell the Stag Lord as notorious when no one has heard of him.
No, they've heard of him.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no,
All right.
it's
I need this to succeed. That'll give me 7 dice. What am I aiming at?
3.
Oh shit. Hey Mason, I don't suppose you'd like to help me out here?
Hey!
Am I helping just by being pretty?
Let's see. Can I help you out?
Serious-
Mason is all about offering help in this. The thing is that they can't really. I don't have anything I could throw in. Actually, so I can throw in if Eric tells me what I can throw in with, because I don't have social skills.
I am totally serious.
be
Am I
boned
helping
there,
by
dude.
being pretty?
You might be boned about helping.
Okay, I'm gonna drop.
I will help.
I've already heard the what's on your help. I'm gonna use the persona on this. I feel like 8 against 4 sounds much better than.
Yeah.
So it's 3 helping dice, 1 Artha, 4. That looks
Yep.
green to me.
It is.
I will spend a fate on it,
Nice.
which is gonna give me 1 persona, 2 fate, and oratory.
Yeah. Okay. So
Is 8 before a test? Sorry, you go ahead. I'm just babbling.
no, you're good. Oh, I don't know. You have to look at the handout for what
I know.
difficulty
I'm
that
working
is.
on it.
But yeah, no, like the crowd's loves it, right? They're eating up the story about Sumire, Shoshone, and Sir Onan doing it. They're like, wow, like you guys just took out all of those bandits and they came back with that. Wow, and they kind of like do like this huge like loud formal like applause for you guys. In fact, I think the applause kind of goes on more than you expect, Count Ronald, and then kind of like coming out from behind are the regents, and they're all because they're still clapping, like they kind of overheard a little bit of your.
Oh,
story.
they're doing that thing where they're like, oh God, I hate that thing. I'm still clapping because my clapping is more important.
Yeah. And
I mean, I will give whatever's reasonably owed to the regent. Maybe a slight bow or whatever, but I'll definitely go to a knee for the appearance of the queen.
oh yeah, and as they kind of like stealthily emerge, they kind of did this kind of on purpose, and then kind of everyone kind of like mutter, like hushes, like shh, like ooh, like and except for you guys still clapping, and kind of everyone else kind of keeps clapping too, but they're not really sure, and then all of a sudden they see the regents.
I would like to observe formal etiquette.
Yeah.
I am a commoner in front of the regent.
Demetrius observes the proper etiquette, but he also says a whispered prayer under his breath when he sees his cousin, the queen. It's a little bit more colloquial, might be the way to say it, than some of the prayers we've heard him say. But he basically just whispers under his breath, "Please, Lord Abadar, let me not make a fool of myself in front of my cousin." And I would like to try to bless and open end my oratory skill. I don't know if I'm ever actually going to use it, but
This couldn't possibly blow up in your face at this exact moment.
Here's
Exactly.
I don't know. How long does this prayer kind of take? Because I feel like you might. I don't know. Do prayers work if you just whisper it?
There is it's only sorcery that's required to be loud and proud.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, never mind. Okay.
I'd say that's kind of up to the DM, though. Like, if you want to say that Abadar just doesn't listen to my prayer because I'm trying to do it under my breath and in a quiet way. What are you exactly? I know you're praying mechanically to open your oratory, but what are you saying to Abadar to give you? Yeah, so mechanically, so the way I've been kind of thinking about this a lot, and like sort of the interaction between the mechanics of the faith and like Demetrius's actual faith. And what I was kind of thinking is like, I don't think that Demetrius is like, okay, right now I'm praying for a miracle, and right now I'm just praying. I think that he just is like a religious person, in the fact that like anytime he's worried, scared, what have you, he's just going to start praying and like muttering prayers. And sometimes Abadar answers and sometimes he doesn't.
Okay, so
this time he's just really worried because he knows that his cousin does not think very highly of him. He knows that this is his chance to prove himself, and he knows that he really, really needs an opportunity to speak to his cousin because he wants to show off to Count Swan.
Yeah.
So he's just like really worried that he's going to make a social gaffe and have his cousin reveal how much. Basically, he doesn't want Count Swan to know quite the level of disdain that his cousin holds for him.
That's
may
good.
I?
So
Question. So does that mean that like when faith stuff happens for Demetrius, that is like exclusively on the player level, right? Like you
Correct.
decide that, but Demetrius doesn't have any say in it. He doesn't feel like I am channeling God now. It's more like
No, it's more like I'm praying and holy shit, something just happened versus I'm praying and nothing happened.
cool.
just sometimes you're in tune with the vibes, and sometimes you're not. You just don't.
Right.
It just does whatever it wants.
So this is obtuse to Boone.
Yep.
I'm just gonna wing it on this one, I guess, because 5 dice and an obtuse.
I mean,
pretty
I
good.
think the failure here would just be that Abadar's silent.
Cool.
How nice of you.
Got it. Yeah.
I will spend a fate point just because I'm
Bump it
dumping.
up. Sure. Okay. So.
I have a question for you, Eric, about the fiction of the setting.
Yeah. What's up?
As Mason styles themselves a sorceress or a wizard, right? What in the fiction of this Brevoy is appropriate behavior for them at court? Should I like get on my knees and be like prostrate myself before the regent because I am a commoner, or should I like do like a curt bow and then be like, no, I am also above this because I'm a wizard? Like,
No, you're a
Gandalf
commoner.
am
You're
I?
a commoner. You're
Cool.
absolutely a commoner in this scenario.
Then that is what we do.
Nobody, yeah, almost more than anyone. Like the Sertovas are very like hierarchical. Like they definitely want to be seen as the highest. So,
Cool. If that is true of the fiction, then that is what Mason tries.
Yeah. So, so while everyone's kind of clapping and stuff, I think we see Nikolai, right, the regent, kind of step forward, and he kind of like comes kind of around behind Count Ronald, who's kind of genuflecting now, right, and he tells you to rise as he like finishes clapping, and people kind of go quiet, and he says, "That was quite, that was quite the story that you told." Now, before he doesn't say this, just between you and me, AP, did you mention anything about Father Demetrius in the story?
I did not.
Yeah. I'm a little curious that you left my good cousin out of your story. Tell the court of your actions with Father Demetrius.
I would be most pleased, Lord Regent, to speak of the actions of Demetrius when the followers of the Stag Lord saw Onin approach with the head. They were split in two as to whether to fight or flee, but your cousin, Father Demetrius Sertova, approached them and spoke to them in the holy language of Abadar, and they fell to their knees and pledged eternal loyalty to the House of Sertova.
Everyone's like, ooh, and Nikolai looks very impressed and goes, then why did that seems incredibly important. It just seems a little odd that you would have left that out.
My lord, you hadn't arrived yet. I was saving the best part of the tale for last. But more importantly, it was my understanding he wished to tell the tale himself. For he is no small fish in the pond of oratory. Let's see. I mean, okay, first off, Sertovans,
I know.
They're ice fishers, so I'm sure they got the reference.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that you knew what you were doing there. I love that part. Yeah.
Well, I knew what he was doing, even if I had to work through it.
Two.
No small fish in the pond of oratory.
Yeah.
That is so good.
But
Where is he? Yeah, and he's like he's
my good
looking
friend
around.
here, Onin Solstund has trouble speaking in public from time to time, and he is a young, unmarried man of high rank.
I think there's like a what? like coming from distantly across the hall, like just barely audible beneath the talking, because he's not actually been here for this. This was sort of like a congregation elsewhere.
Yes.
And like as if a insult sentence has gone off. It's like, what? I can't talk in front of crowds.
Occasionally, Dimitri can outspeak you, Solstin. You do find yourself flustered.
No,
My Lord Regent, might I introduce Bishop Onan Solstin of the Enlightened Goramite Church?
I'm going to assume that Goramites salute rather than bow, like that, and not like American military salute, but there's probably some, Brevoyan salute. I don't know if it's like
a military thing. Yeah,
fist
right?
on hand, like I Macarena or,
Yeah,
or whatever.
Well,
But
that makes sense, because it's kind of like if you are a like if you're a king and you're a general, you're a subject to them, but they're also like your military commander, so you're like saluting like the military commander presence. Of
yeah,
being a
like
king,
I
right?
salute rather than bow, but that's
right.
not
Which-
less
Yeah.
prostrating than anything
no,
else.
No, it's just that you actually are entitled to that as a soldier.
It's like how a soldier would salute the president instead of shaking his hand.
Exactly.
Like he has to salute first, then they shake hands, because the president's like, you can shake.
You're commander in chief.
Don't
as
worry.
Well as your
Don't
president.
worry.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's an office. Yeah. Exactly. Right. It's a hierarchical thing. And yeah, he's like, at ease, Sir Onan.
Unsalute.
Yeah. The Stag Lord Slayer, as he like gives everyone applause for you.
I take my my full face helmet off.
Yeah.
And like under the shoulder it, and I sort of hold a hand up to the applause, and I'm like, the Stag Lord was nothing. Like not even in a bragging way. Like they probably think it's a bragging way.
Yeah, that sounds bragging
but I'm
to
like,
everyone else.
but I'm like, the Stag Lord was nothing. Don't get overexcited. I'm not saying that part.
Oh, you're so modest.
Yeah, I'm saying the Stag Lord was nothing. And like it's the thing that other people would say to brag, but Onan is actually saying that Stag
humble brag
was fucking nothing.
I want to support his humble brag by just like commenting like off to the side, like, well, yes, I suppose most of us would be nothing if we got bullseyed through the throat with a crossbow in the dark at 200 yards.
My Lord Regent, might I introduce the final member of our group, the Sorcerer General Mason?
Okay, so a comment that is the best title for Mason that they have ever heard, and they really picked themselves up. They're like, yeah, that sounds right. Hi there.
Or can we please call you the Sorcerer Supreme?
No.
No.
I
like Sorcerer General, though. It does have a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Come forward.
I step in front of the regent, and I do the exact same like prostration that I did before, right? I'm like, I salute them as a commoner to a regent, not as a sorcerer to a not sorcerer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he's going to... they don't hate sorcerers or anything like that, but I do think that... no, they won't even make fun of your House Orlovsky colors either. I think they would be very, very polite and courteous to you. So they're like... yeah, so we heard you were a later addition to this trip.
It is true. What is his title?
Nevertheless, Brevoy thanks you for your service.
What is the proper form of address for this guy?
Regent.
You are correct, Regent. And I appreciate it so much that you would speak so curtly to me. It has been my honor and my pleasure to help serve Brevoy in this matter, and to share in the company of these fine gentlemen whose exploits you have been so accurately informed of.
Yeah.
Of course, one could easily make the comment that one of the most key figures was neglected in that tale.
Who?
The tale teller himself, of course.
I was going to say Olaf, actually. He had to put up with us for a whole month.
That is true. And then we kicked him out of his house.
I think
Well,
the
no,
queen
I
steps
bought
forward
his
too.
house for way above market value. Let's be clear here.
Tell me more. Like the queen steps forward. Regent steps forward.
Does she address Mason or does she address Swan as the person who wove the tale?
You, Mason.
Count
You have
Swan
to speak on behalf of Count Swan now.
Count Swan undersells his Count Swan undersells his own importance in the exploration and beginning cultivation of the Nile marshes and the surrounding area. For while other people may indeed have dealt a killing blow to the Stag Lord, have converted the enemies of order and peace, or have tracked down and destroyed who would assault people on the road, someone had to orchestrate these events for them to happen in the first place. Someone had to bring the people in line. And Count Swan turned, even in the short time I was there, and I arrived late, as you correctly observed, Regent. In the short time I was there, I observed him transform a trading post to an expeditionary fortress.
Not the time to argue. 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 That's what's playing in Onet's head.
With the Lord of Civilization on our side and the strength of Count Swan's mind, all things are possible.
I hold him to be the greatest entrepreneur I have ever met.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he's like. I think the Queen Regent says, I'm sure Restov would be most pleased to have a new trading partner to the south.
Why stop with Restov, my lady? Perhaps we can speak later, my queen, about how New Stetven could be a trading partner to Restov in this manner.
Can you
I was thinking the East Melon River looked like a fantastic new venture.
Yeah, can you do me a favor and actually roll for me?
My roll.
I think you need to... You spoke out of turn to suggest this. Yeah, she was talking to Mason.
That's true.
So I think you need to roll an etiquette. I think it's etiquette.
So here's a question though: like, is that a social gaffe that Swan would have made, or is that just?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, and I feel like if that is something that you would want to say, you could totally say like I didn't mean it to be a gaffe, kind of thing, and maybe that happened later. But like if you wanted to say something about jutting in about the comments about trading with Restov, that would actually require an etiquette roll to feel like if you were able to maneuver.
What's important to me is not the trading with Restov; it's getting a meeting opportunity with the Queen, especially with Dimitri kind of being like, I don't know if that's going to happen.
That's fair. But also, when the whole court is silent and talking about your stories, asking about a future business thing is not the right time to talk about that.
All right, I'll wait for a more righteous opportunity then.
Just more like a privately. It's like literally everyone's around, like wanting to hear your stories. They don't want to hear about you scheduling your business. This is not the right time. This is a party. You don't talk about scheduling business at a party, but you totally do. It's the duplicitous of court.
Let me tell you about SWAT parties. Yeah. They're literally spreadsheets everywhere.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're a big hit. No, so okay. So then. But she definitely did mean something when she said, I'm sure Restov would be glad to have a trading partner to the south. Assume like that was implying that like Issia and Brevoy would be a little bit unfair to that. That was like a jest to people who would be interested in knowing that.
I think Mason's response to that comment is as a native of Restov. I can say with all conviction that if such an entrepreneurial figure was to trade with Restov, the entire city would stand to benefit.
Nice one.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Bringing it back.
Yeah, I don't think there's no roll there. That's just a really good work. Okay, that's just a good idea.
At this point, I think Demetrius will sort of break in and try to push things into a little bit safer territory with the crowd around. And I will say...
Everyone start talking.
Yeah, I will say we so greatly appreciate your care, Your Grace. And might I say, it is excellent to get to see a chance to see you again. It has been too long, cousin.
Indeed. Too long, cousin.
And I like go to like kiss her hand or do whatever would be proper, you know.
Yeah, you step forward, and I think that's kind of like, then the music picks up and we go to break. And,
Cool.
And we're going to come back to more stuff, but the introductions and stuff are over.
Really clear here.
Yeah.
What the music is, because I see 3 alternatives. One is like a Godfather, like da 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 da. The second is kind of the Game of Thrones. Everyone in this room's about to get murdered song.
Reigns of Castamere?
It's not Reigns of
And the third is
Castamere.
just regular music.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking it's more like A Knight's Tale. Renditions of like David Bowie songs.
Okay, all right.
On
I didn't know if this was the secret signal to just start killing all the enemies of Sertova.
Oh, no. Jesus, no. Okay. So, not yet. So
I mean, the queen's getting salty with the enemies of Sertova publicly on the dance floor, so...
Well, yeah, that's
You better not steal the
almost
groove.
expected, yeah. All right. So, we'll be back in 5 minutes.